I believe in being able to change who you are and what you do. It's not easy. I think it's simple. It's simple, but it's definitely not easy. It doesn't have to be complicated on how you change yourself. I mean, I've read a lot of self help and I've read philosophy that I've tried to apply to myself and to my life and try to figure out, okay, what can this philosophy, what can this psychology teach me about myself and about life and about how I can change and how I can live my life. A lot of self-help books are the same. They feel the same. Some have some pretty good gems, and sometimes even though these things are the same, you may just need it packaged and presented to you differently to make it make sense to your brain. I believe everyone can change themselves. I believe everyone can do so. I mean, you're not the same person you were like a year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. But some people don't change. Surprisingly, even though I just said that you're not the same person you were a few years ago, some people's cores stay the same. And even though some things about them may change, some superficial things, or maybe you see some progress, the core of the person may stay the same. And there may be some superficial changes, or even some changes you may not have noticed before. What I'm trying to say is that it's hard to change. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it is hard. And I've noticed in multiple people in my life that unfortunately they have shown me they have not changed. Or for some reason, I just notice that they could change something about themselves that would probably fix their life in some way. And I know it's kind of odd to maybe talk about that because who am I to kind of pick these things out and blow them up in a sense of I noticed them and I'm presenting them to you when I have my own issues, my own insecurities, my own anxieties, and my own inability to act and to change myself in the way that I want. Even though I realize I could change myself, the difficulty in doing so is stopping me, or maybe the fear or the embarrassment or the insecurity that I mentioned. I guess three different people come to mind. One person that comes to mind, I think he's smart. I want to say he is capable. Maybe smart's not a good descriptor. I don't think he's dumb, but for some, or maybe I don't know, maybe he's dumb. Shit, maybe he's dumb. Maybe I give him more credit than where credit is due, but I don't think he's incapable. I don't think he's incapable. And dumb is a strong word. Maybe he just doesn't realize that he's smarter than he really is. Maybe he doesn't believe in his own intelligence, and that's why he does things in a way that I don't comprehend, where I feel like the way he does things makes me feel like he lacks intelligence when he's shown me before he's pretty capable. He's pretty capable, but maybe he doesn't feel he's capable or intelligent enough to figure certain things out. Even though he's shown he's capable, there have been some instances where he has outright come and said, I don't know what I'm doing. Not knowing what you're doing is okay. That's fine. A lot of people don't know what they're doing, right? Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. But I think where I find issue with that is he has spoken out to take responsibility over an issue or a problem. And he has a lack of understanding about what he needs to do to fix those problems. I know I'm being vague and it might be difficult, but basically just picture someone who says, okay, I'll take on this project and I will assume the responsibility for its completion. And you say, okay, great. And, time goes by and he tries his best and he asks questions and more time goes by and it doesn't feel like he's made any progress and he's asking the same questions again, even though you're pretty sure you answered these or someone else answered and gave him information about what he needed. Or instead of asking us those questions, maybe he should go ask other people those questions who he has not asked and maybe get some answers to what he's so confused about. It's kind of hard to sympathize for this person because I think they are capable, but for some reason, they just don't see it. They just don't see what they should do. Yeah, I guess it's just difficult to empathize or to sympathize with this person because they have lived a longer life than me. They are more experienced in certain things. This person, despite being older, despite being more experienced, despite doing things I've never done before, and admittedly, I've never done what they're trying to do now, I still see avenues for success or for answers that they're requesting. And I know that's kind of vague and I kind of talked in circles there, but hopefully I can edit this to make some sense. But basically, I'm just surprised that they don't see that they kind of took responsibility for something they've never done. They don't make very much progress, and then they don't understand why they're not making much progress. And now they are saying it wasn't really my responsibility. It was our responsibility. So the terms of responsibility have changed as time has gone by because the person has not made the progress they've needed to make. So that's person one. Person two is someone I used to admire, someone who I looked up to and wanted to become similar to. But as I've grown older and have seen how this person functions in an adult setting with my adult mind and adult perspective, I realize this person also kind of has no clue what they're doing. And again, having no clue what you're doing is okay. It's what you do when you hit that crossroad of I don't know what to do. You can ask for help. You can analyze your own thoughts, your own actions, and your own decisions, or you can seek professional help, right? Asking for help, seek professional help. And the difference between asking for help from person one to person two is that person one was asking the same questions to people they didn't need to ask, or people they have asked and are kind of wanting their hand to be held through the process. They want their hand to be held. They want to be guided through the process. They should not have taken responsibility for something if they were not ready for what that entailed. Person two, this is more along the lines of how they act in life and how they present themselves as an adult. And, we're adults are just big kids. We're all just big kids. We are all living life for the first time ever. Everyone's living life for the first time ever. This is the first time we've ever been kids, teens, young adults, old people, right? So person two is someone I looked up to, someone I wanted to be similar to, but as I've grown older, I realized that this person has not really changed from who they were when they were younger to now. They have shown me that they do not keep promises. They have shown me they don't change their actions to create better outcomes for themselves. They have also shown me that I can't really trust them as much as I used to. There are some people who I'm close to that I feel like I can just trust. I trust for them to do certain things, to say certain things, or to keep their word or their promises. I feel like they have let me down in ways that have mattered to me one too many times, and now I do not trust them to handle anything that I care about. So if it's something that affects me that maybe I want to ask them for a favor that's important to me. And it's not just like a simple favor like, hey, can you pick me up? Or can I borrow this, borrow that? I guess it can be like that. But person two hasn't changed. They haven't changed. Or maybe they've changed for the worst. I have tried to speak words of encouragement to this person and tell them, hey, you can change. You can do better for yourself. You can change your life. I think the person they are is too ingrained into their system that unless he wants to change, he will not change. He will not change because he is too stuck in his ways. And I know it can be very difficult, but you got to want to change. The first step to change is you have to want to change. And if you want to change, then at least there's some hope for it, right? But basically, person one has shown me that someone who I thought was capable, someone who has more experience, someone who's older, is actually not more capable than me. And I know I'm comparing, but I can only compare it to myself because I kind of put these people on a pedestal, which is not something anyone should do. Do not put people on pedestals. Considering they're older, more experienced, I figured, hey, even though it's something they've never done, I'm sure there's a bunch of things they've never done, and I'm sure they completed those as well. But it's kind of shown me people have certain strengths in some areas and weaknesses in some other areas. And for some reason, this person chose to take responsibility for an area he is definitely not experienced or confident in. Person two was a role model, was someone I looked up to and wanted to be similar to as I was growing up. As I have grown up, I realize that is not the person I want to be. They do not embody the values that I want to embody. I don't find them as trustworthy or dependable as I used to. The things I used to look up to them for now seem questionable, superficial, and even immoral, depending on what exactly I'm talking about. But I'm just keeping it vague as possible. This is a long video, but I guess I have a lot to say. The third person is someone I also care about. They're pretty close to me, very close to me. And this is not even like a huge thing, but it's just a pattern I've noticed. These are just patterns I've been noticing over and over again. And I know some other people have also noticed them, but it's interesting that I notice it and I kind of want to say something, but you don't want to rock the boat, especially if it's not really that important. But I think the depth of your relationships to other people are dependent on how uncomfortable the conversations you can have with them are. If you can have very uncomfortable conversations with people and be okay at the end of it, then your relationship with those people will probably deepen. Person three basically does not keep their word either. And it's not as bad as person two. Person three promises to hang out, but flakes all the time. And I've seen it as a spectator and maybe someone as the inviter, but I haven't invited them for much lately. They say they will hang out, but the time comes and they say they can't, but then actually, oh hey, they will. Last minute they can. But actually a couple hours later they can't. So it's kind of like, oh, last week you said you were busy, but you could hang out next week. Okay, now next week rolls around, and now you're being given notice throughout the week. Throughout the week. As the week is coming to an end, we're checking in, and you don't really say anything definitive, but you kind of hint that you'll go. The day of comes, and it's like, hey, are we hanging out? We're down for tonight? Question mark. And you say no, even though last week you said you would be free. And then maybe a couple hours later, you're like, oh, you know what? I will go. And then another hour or so more passes. And then you're like, you know what? I don't feel it up for it. I'm feeling bad. I don't feel good. I don't think I can make it. You got to give people chances to reveal if this is something that they repeat, or to reveal that this is just a one-time thing. And since this has happened multiple times, they are a repeat offender. And with that knowledge, you can then adjust your own actions to realize, hey, maybe I shouldn't invite them anymore, to save myself the emotional energy of going through this roller coaster of yes and no, maybe so, planning, when all you want to do is just like have a good time with them, but for some reason they cannot commit. And it's just annoying. It's just annoying. You can talk to them and tell them, hey, this is what I noticed. And maybe they'll say yes. Maybe they'll even say, oh, I'm so sorry that I do that. But that doesn't change the fact that they do it, right? They can say sorry they do it, but they'll just go ahead and do it again next month if you come up with something to do again and invite them. And they'll say, yes, that sounds great. But when the time comes, they will not accept. Person four, and this is going to be the last person I'm talking about, is also a person I'm very close with. And they have been very down lately because they have also been in the market for a job. I'm not around them 24/7, so I don't know what they do with their free time. And I don't know how they feel 95% of the time, 90 to 95% of the time. So maybe they're perfectly fine. But from the times I've talked to them, they are not fine. They are not fine. Life is hitting hard. Life hits them hard, you know? Life hits all of us hard. But again, I give them words of encouragement. I give them advice and tips about things they could possibly do because I feel I'm in the same boat. I'm not looking for a job, but I am looking for other things to do with my life and, you know, maybe a job too. Actually, I am kind of looking for a job, but at least I have a current job that I'm making money from. All right, long story short, to sum everything up, you cannot change other people. You can't change other people. Change is simple, but it's very hard. Some people that you thought had it together actually don't know what they're doing either. So, one, you don't have to feel bad that you don't know what you're doing. Two, if you want to change, it's simple, but it's also very hard. And three, you can give someone the best advice in the world with all the best intentions and even let them know you're going through the same thing, but you're coming out on top because of what you did for yourself and you want them to emulate what you did, but they probably won't do it unless they want to do it. And those are just some things I've noticed about the people near me lately. All these things just kind of have been coming out and I've been noticing them. Last piece of advice or last point about actually changing your life, since I said it's easy but hard, or simple but hard, not easy, simple but hard. How to change your life. Take constant, consistent action in anything else. Take action in something else. You're not happy with your job, find a different job. Not happy with your relationship, figure out what you're not happy about and change it, right? You can't change other people. You can only change yourself. Change how you react to the situation, change your perspective, change what you do, blah, blah, blah. Change, do something, right? Take action for the change. You have to take action. You can think about it for 100 million years, but if you don't do anything about it, nothing's ever going to change. And that is a fact. Anyway, this was a long one. Hope you guys enjoyed my rambling. If you didn't, I guess I can't change your opinion about it. All right. Thank you for listening. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.